What makes this a peninsula? What makes this an exciting building? Of all the peninsulas, this building goes beyond any other. Hong Kong was the first of Asia. It was ahead of its time. Paris, it's a regeneration of a grand palace. Istanbul is the revitalization of a piece of waterfront on the Bosphorus. But London really is a pearl in Europe. The intensity in which we have taken the detailing, the quality of materials, the coordination and the matching of everything that's come into this is second to none.
Besides our flagship properties, we had always regarded London as the most important landmark for us to build. The reason for that is clear. London is such an important and strategic city. It is a city with an amazing history, an amazing personality, and added to that, I believe the company has had a long emotional connection to London as well.
London's always been a home for me, a home away from home, and to have a flagship hotel there is something which will benefit this company enormously.
To find a location like this was not easy at all, and we had been looking for a long time. We were very lucky to have found a location which at the time was owned by a London property company. We entered into a series of discussions with the property company holding the leasehold, as well as with Grosvenor. The end result of which was we agreed a deal to demolish what had been an existing office building into a mixed-use development as we have built it today.
When Clement then was able to talk to Grosvenor and they offered that site, we were all extremely excited. And we wanted to bring a building to London that stands the test of time. That site is ours for 150 years.
Management were very clear this needed to be a statement building, a building that stood amongst its peers without standing out.
This was further complicated and created more challenges by our program, where we asked to have residences in the project with the hotel, and number two, to have a separate and distinctive entrance for the residences and their own unique bespoke lobby.
It was always a dream of mine to work with Peter Marino, because I consider him one of the most, if not the most talented architect interior designers.
Hotels are nightmares to design. Hotels have everything. They have large public swimming pools. They have restaurants galore. They have shops. They have tea rooms. They have bedrooms of 7 different sizes. Said, well, where are you going with the aesthetics of the whole hotel? And I said, well, we obviously need a bit of British classicism because of our location here at Wellington Arch. We need a little bit of this Hong Kong Orientalia feeling that would reflect the Peninsula Hotel's origins, and then a dash of Peter Marino, if I might.
I think for us, the team at Hopkins working on this project, that's the real challenge. How do you make it a really good, timeless, elegant piece of contemporary architecture, but it also fits in with the estate, with London, with the history. At the end of it, when it's all finished, we will have added to London an iconic building that's quietly confident, very grand, very luxurious, and very comfortable with its neighbours on the estate, and I think will become a major contribution to London.
One of the guiding principles is also to bring the best of British into the Peninsula London, and we believe we have found some great representation of what Britain stands for with their traditions, and driving home this idea of wanting to be part of the London society, of the London artisans, of the local fabric.
So the Peninsula Brief wanted to focus the works on the kind of great British landscape painting tradition. And I really like the thought of this hotel that's in the centre of the metropolis of London, but has these amazing landscape paintings in and has a connection to nature, which I think is really important.
You know, we've got all these sort of different feelings around the hotel, but they are equally glamorous. We treated it all like little different sort of stories and different mini collections within the hotel.
The thing with the Peninsula is it's such an old hotel group. It's a history that very much came about during the golden age of travel. And so I think to be able to have a custom fragrance in an environment like the Peninsula where you're getting this impeccable service will just create the sort of idea of calm and serenity.
What we're trying to do is to access that time travel moment that takes you back to that first time you had the first sip of that gin on your first visit to the Peninsula.
Afternoon tea started in Britain because I think all of their guests expect that they'll have a footed teacup when they come for afternoon tea, and I think the Peninsula therefore wanted that piece to be absolutely incredible and for the guests to really remember that.
When they tasted the wines, I think they detected that we are not simply a crowd pleaser, we are engaged in a serious attempt to make a great wine with a very tight focus on craftsmanship and quality.
The restaurant on the roof, in Sir Michael's mind, has been Brooklands. The heritage is second to none because it marries the development of aeroplanes and the development of racing of the era.
We found Claude Bossy, who is a very well-recognized chef in the United Kingdom, and he agreed to work with us, and now he's the chef director of Brooklands restaurant.
The unique design inspiration for Canton Bleu is in large part to the credit of our interior designer, Henry Leung, and he brought the concept of the Chinese trading ships and the Chinaware that they brought across the world, and that has inspired the actual execution of the restaurant in many, many ways. We set out to create the finest, highest quality hotel product that London had ever seen. We were doing this while we were also building a very high quality product in Istanbul. I might compare this to a great hiking team trying to do Mount Everest and Kilimanjaro at the same time and had to fight and climb that mountain during the pandemic.
COVID came at a very inconvenient time. London went into lockdown, so we made the decision to shut the site. We kept a skeleton crew here of security. We kept the consultants all mobilized, so we kept the design going. We were really sailing in uncharted waters. But what we weren't doing was dropping any of our standards and not take our eye off the ball.
I think it's exhausted a lot of people, but I think at the end of the day, getting through something like that gives you an enormous sense of pride.
I wish to thank each and every one of you who have assisted to complete this magnificent project. Our dream of owning and operating a Peninsula hotel in London has become a reality.
I think it's a milestone opening. It has been such a long dream to be in London, and now having 3 hotels in Europe, in Istanbul, Paris, and London. I think this is a good sort of placement of the 3 hotels.
We have the same hope and wish for each of our Peninsula properties, which is that in 100 years' time, they will be a legacy for both our company and for the cities in which they have been built, that the service and the quality has been maintained so that these assets can be sustained for a long time. That is the wish, not only for Peninsula London, but for everything that we build.
I would say London will always be London. All of this makes London a property which will be one which I will always enjoy. But we must first become what London wants of us. We must be of value to the Londoner, to the English. And if we can achieve that and also cater for our international clientele, we'll be on the road to a great success.